Today's learning target is I can divide fractions and mixed numbers. So far in this unit, we've looked at how do we add and subtract fractions, and we know when we do that, we have to get the denominators the same. We've also done now how to multiply, and we know when we do that, we just multiply the numerators and the denominators. Today, we're going to take a look at how do we divide fractions. Whenever we're dividing fractions, we're going to remember three letters. KCF, not to be confused with Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. KCF stands for keep, change, flip, and let me show you what that means. Let's say that we're dividing two fractions like we are right here. Okay? Dividing fractions can be a little bit confusing. So what we can do to make it simpler is we can use that keep, change, flip method to create a multiplication problem that will be the same answer as this, because it's pretty easy to multiply fractions. So when I have a division problem, my first thing is I'm going to keep the first fraction. So I just rewrite it and I keep it the same. Now, the second thing is I change this division problem to a multiplication problem. And now I'm going to flip this last fraction, or use the inverse of that. So 1/2, the inverse, is 2 over 1. So now, if I were to solve this problem right here, it's going to give me the same answer as what this would be. So when I multiply fractions, I know step one is to simplify if I can, and both of those are even, so I can divide them both by 2. And it looks like that's all my simplifying. Now I just multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. And I have an improper fraction here because my numerator is bigger than my denominator. So remember, I want to simplify this, so I want to put that as a mixed number. And to do that, I'm going to divide it out just like I did when I was multiplying fractions. And so from there, I get 1 whole and 1/2 as my mixed number. So here I have a division problem where I have one fraction and one mixed number. So step one is to get this into an improper fraction. And remember, to do that, I'm going to times the denominator times the whole number. 3 times 3 is 9. And then add the numerator is 10. So when I rewrite this, I would do it like this: 10/3 divided by 2/3. And now I'm going to do my keep, change, flip. And when you do your problems, you should even just write the KCF so you don't forget. So I keep 2/3. I change the division to multiplication, and I flip, or do the inverse of 10/3, which is 3 over 10. Okay, now I've got a multiplication problem. Step one is to simplify. I can do that. Both of those, I can go 3, and these are both even, so I can divide them both by 2. I get 1 and 5. So now my answer to that problem is 1/5. Be sure today, as you're working your problems, that you don't skip any steps, right? Actually put the K, the C, and the F in there so you remember. I keep the first, I change the sign, and I flip or use the inverse of the last fraction. So let's look at one more example here. I have 7/9 divided by 7. All right, so I'm going to start off, and when I write this out, this 7 wholes right here, I'm going to put as a fraction right off the bat. So I'm just going to write it off, 7 over 1. Okay, now I put my KCF, keep, change, flip. Okay, I write those letters up there, and so now I rewrite the problem. I keep the 7/9, I change the division to multiplying, and I flip or do the inverse of 7, which is 1/7. Okay, step one, when I multiply, I'm going to simplify first. 7 goes into both of those one time, and now it's an easy problem to solve. I multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1, and 9 times 1 is 9.